Next up, I'm going to ask Michael to come up. So as you can see, Michael is the Vice President of African Cloud Business for Huawei. It's African and South African, which would you expect because South Africa is part of the bigger Africa. Okay, so as Vice President, Michael is responsible and accountable for implementing a strategy that builds the South African and the African cloud business within Huawei. Okay, so this is quite exciting because Huawei hasn't been that present in the cloud business on our shores, and especially because they didn't have a physical presence. Okay, so this is a really exciting time, and I know that Michael's going to be talking to that. And Michael is particularly passionate about creating opportunities for young people in education, stimulating entrepreneurship, and driving employment initiatives in the digital economy. And for me, what is so interesting about that is the fact, now think about this pandemic, okay, education, okay, we've already spoken about it. The whole of education has changed, okay. What is our biggest concern in South Africa? Well, one of the biggest concerns, there are lots of concerns, but one of the biggest concerns is unemployment. Unemployment has skyrocketed. So how do we fix unemployment? We've got to create entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs create small businesses. Small businesses are the biggest employers, okay? Because collectively they employ more than even big businesses. Okay, so you definitely on the right track. And then you want to create employment in the digital economy. I mean, just makes it right on the nail. Okay, so perfect. Okay, so what is interesting, and that is when I had a look at Michael's CV, was one of the most stressful careers. What is one of the most stressful careers? Andre probably knows it. It's an air traffic controller. Okay, and especially back in the day, okay, now it's all digitized, okay, which makes it a lot easier, but Michael is actually a certified, that's how he started his career, as an air traffic controller, okay, so he obviously can handle a little bit of stress, so this Huawei cloud business is going to be really easy for him. He's quite tall and slender, and you can see he's built like a runner, okay, so he's also into his running. He's done a couple of ultramarathons, he's done the 2 oceans, and also done the Comrades. Yes. And I certainly hope that you got a Huawei watch on. Sorry, I know he doesn't. In any case, Michael, I know he doesn't. I'm just pulling his leg. If you can come up, I'm going to give you this trophy as well. If you can put this on here. Let's put it over there.
Great stuff.
Okay, I don't mind putting his one.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm mindful that I'm being recorded, and as a guy from El Dorado Park, we love this, right? So am I standing in the right place, sir? Right, great stuff.
So colleagues, customers, thank you so much for joining us. Patrick, thank you for your kind words. I really do appreciate it. People never speak that nice about me, so thank you very much. I just want to make 2 comments before I start this conversation with you today. I want to echo what Donna said about digital, and if you haven't yet read Donna's article, really an amazing and a thoughtful article on digital, right, and what our customers certainly are doing in this country around digital. So thanks for that, Donna. And then Stephen, I really like your slide, and I hope I can lend your slide around defense in depth. I think it really encompasses a lot of things that we as customers and partners need to do together to solve our customers' problems. So I really like that slide. With that, and with your permission, Patrick, I just wanted to take a minute to introduce the team. There is, as they say, no I in team, and so I've been joined with some of my colleagues from Huawei. We have Nikhil, who runs my business from Cape Town, and he runs a whole coastal area, responsible for the cloud business. And then we have Rajan right at the back. Rajan is a senior leader in our business. Rajan runs the entire coastal business from a partner perspective, and so Rajan looks after you guys. So my job is easy. I'm what they call a seagull. I fly in, took a lot of stuff, and they clean up after I've left. So these are the guys that I didn't want to use the S word, right? It's being recorded. So yes, so that's a little bit about myself. Let's have a conversation now. Before I get into the conversation, I think it's very important that I ask 3 questions. And lots of times, because I say I'm from El Dorado Park, people are very intimidated. So please don't be intimidated. In fact, I love PE so much that when I heard I was coming here, I was super excited, right? Because you guys produce the best thing for Aldo's VW cars, right? Yeah. You know, we love it, right? And so I really feel at home here, you know? So please, I'm going to ask 3 questions. I'm going to ask you to play with me. And the first question I'd like to ask you is,
Have any of you tried cloud before in the room? Are you guys okay with cloud? Yeah? Yeah? A lot of nods. I like that. Second question is does anybody think it's difficult, this cloud thing? Right? Some yeses and some no's, okay? So this cloud journey is not an easy thing. As salespeople, we try and oversell this thing. We try and make it look easy. And so certainly I'm encouraged by this setup because, Patrick, it allows us to engage with you, our partner, donor distribution, and you, our customers, to engage meaningfully around this. And so really that is one thing I want to say about this cloud journey. It's not an easy thing, but rest assured you've got some good partners here that will help you certainly on that journey. Now, would I like everybody to be on Huawei Cloud? Absolutely. Is it going to happen? Probably not, right? And so I am a firm believer in this multi-cloud world. And so I wanted to start the conversation there. Now, Nikhil and I were having a conversation to say, how do we land our message successfully? And I'm mindful of a mic. I was going to call Nikhil up, but let's do this. I'm going to divide the room into three areas, right? Because I'm going to ask you very difficult questions after this. So there's three things that I urge you to remember out of the session. And so for the first area, this one is for you, right? That if there's anything you remember out of the session, this side of the room needs to remember the following. This Huawei Cloud we speak about exists in South Africa, in the borders of this country, which means all your data stays here, data residency, data sovereignty, right? So it's all here. And don't listen to somebody on the other side of the planet. It's all here, and we can't see your data, right? So this side of the room, our cloud is in South Africa. This side of the room, a very important one, is that we don't expect you to take this journey on your own. In fact, the business models on how IT is moving forward is very, very different in this new world. We are not expecting to come to you, pitch you something, and then get a purchase order. In this new cloud world, it simply doesn't work like that anymore. So for this side of the room, you're not alone. The things you need to think about is that as Huawei and as our partners, what we're saying is the new model is the following. When you engage with us, we want to bring our technology people with our partners' technology people, and we want to invest and understand what your problem is, right? Because we don't want your money yet. We want to engage with you meaningfully, understand your problem. Then as Huawei, we want to give you all the cloud technology that you require to solve your problem. And once we've solved your problem and you get value, then we want to move to a meaningful conversation around how do we create value for both yourselves and ourselves. So this side, you're not in it on your own, right? For this side of the room, this table, you're an important table. Cloud gives us an opportunity to deliver more. I don't know if you know that when this IT thing took off, this MCSE thing was a big thing. Everybody wanted to have MCSE and all those kind of things. Now in cloud, the same thing, right? Everybody wants to be a cloud engineer and certified in a whole bunch of things, right? But it costs money, right? If you send engineers to be trained, they have to write exams, and then somebody said earlier on, you lose the asset or the capital, right? And people leave. So one way of us trying to address that is by bringing as many certified people into the value chain as possible, right? To mitigate some of this risk. So what myself and our business have decided is for all our customers and our partners, we will pay for the official training, right? 5-day courses, depending on what you want to do, we'll pay for that training, right? And then the second thing that we want to do is we also want to pay for your people to write those exams. And an exam is not cheap, right? It's about $300 per exam, and we pick up that cost. And then we take that and we make it pervasive around young people. We're doing a lot of stuff with universities, but we're also mindful of this missing middle gap, right? And what lends itself really, really nicely is, even if you don't have a matric, right, you could do these things. And so it creates a whole new value stream around how we as South Africans can show up and create new value streams. And for us, I mean, what's the number now? 59.3 million official people in the country. Think about the market opportunity in the context of Africa, right? What, just under 1 billion people? And all the problems we solve here, we could export and deliver value there. So for this middle table, training, certification, very important, we want to invest there. So those are the three things that I ask you to think about through this conversation. Any questions or comments or anything specifically you'd like me to cover. And you're not allowed to ask me about Donald Trump. Questions or comments before we go? Right. So, generally where I start the conversation is that many people think that this cloud thing is us coming up with ideas in our head and trying to sell it to you, right, and hope that you use this thing. But this is a demonstration of why technology, and cloud specifically, is being driven very hard, and it's all the way up from number one in our country, right? We realize that this 4IR thing and digital is a massive opportunity for us, right? Now, it's great to say that, but without context, it means nothing. I want to share with you two personal stories around cloud. Now, cloud is not for everybody, and cloud is not going to solve all your problems. But I want to share with you two examples of how cloud certainly has improved my life. The first example is Patrick indicated earlier on that I run ultra marathons, right? Now, by no means did I do athletics at school. I was one of those guys that sat in the stadium and watched people run around, right? I was like, I'm not doing this. Fast forward 40 years later, and I've now done 4 comrades. But let me tell you my story about comrades and cloud. My second comrades, you won't believe what an amazing time I ran. Any of you watch comrades? Have you guys watched comrades on TV before? Yeah. Do you remember at the end of comrades, there's always those guys that do that and try and crawl over the line and don't make the cutoff? If I tell you that my second comrades, I finished comrades in an amazing time of 12 hours and 3 minutes, would you believe me? 12 hours, 3 minutes, and you know the cutoff is 12 hours, right? And so that was my story. And by using cloud and cloud technology, by monitoring what I do, I was very fortunate that last year I finished comrades in 10 hours, 30 minutes, right? Leveraging this thing around cloud because it collects your data and you can really learn a lot from that, right? And so that's the first great example I think that cloud has certainly helped me with. Will I do 10 comrades? Probably not. But anyway, I want to share the second one, and the second story around cloud is a very personal story I want to share with you, because many South Africans like yourselves may be in the situation or may have been in the situation I was before. Probably 2 months ago, just as we moved from lockdown level 5 to lockdown level 4, we had a very bad incident happen to us, myself and my family. I have a wife, Cindy, and 2 daughters, Zara and Victoria. We were at my home at 7:30 in the evening, and as we opened the door for our helpers to go out of the house and go to their room, 5 armed guys stormed our house and forced their way into our house. Be that as it may, we were tied up, they ransacked the house, and God is really good, and so nobody was hurt, right? And that's why we have insurance, so they could replace all of that stuff. But think about how I feel right now every time I have to leave the house and come have a conversation with you guys around cloud. You know, it's very interesting. It's a daunting thing. And so how cloud helps me is I have this app on my phone. It's called the Hikvision app. And so what I use cloud for now is, and I don't know if you saw me on the phone all the time, I have cameras in my house and I can now look through the power of cloud and I can be with my family there, right? I can see what's happening. I can send somebody to help. And so really, cloud has really helped me. And so I share those 2 very personal examples of having the right scenario where cloud can solve a specific problem. But I want to indicate this, that cloud is not going to solve all your problems. Cloud is not the answer to everything, but certainly with the right use case, we think we have a value proposition that we'd like to engage with you through our partnership with Patrick and his team. Now, I also want to say this. When I heard that Dr. Berger was speaking, I was super scared, right? Because this man is an amazing man and he does some really great stuff. And so I'm so happy I'm going before you, sir. So I just wanted to share that. So very quickly, this slide just says what I said earlier on. Not everybody's going to go to cloud initially, but most people will move to cloud. Many of you will live in this world that we call the hybrid world, where you have some assets on premise for whatever reason. Then you're going to move into the public cloud. Is that me? Then you're going to move into the public cloud. And then some people will live in a world between there where you have some assets on premise or some with First Technology team and then some in our cloud. We think that's going to happen. And we're okay with that. The one thing that's going to give you success is where you partner with the right partners to help you through that process. And so Stephen, earlier on your slide actually really talks to that, right? And so I just wanted to share my comment about that. Now, I'm a South African first, and I'm not confused about that, working in a Chinese company, right? And so many times when I have this conversation, it's not about selling cloud, but it's about why the Chinese and why Huawei specifically. And I don't want you to be in that very difficult position, because I even have to talk about Donald Trump, and I don't like talking about that. I'm not a politician. As I said, I'm from El Dorado Park. You guys know what we like to do, right? It's been recorded, so I can't tell you this. So there are 4 things that I'd like to share with you, what differentiates us and our value proposition to the market and how we can help you. Because certainly, if you want to go down this journey with us and our partners, you're going to have to articulate this, right? Otherwise, they're going to tell you, hey, go to Azure or AWS. And I don't want you to do that, right? And the reason why I don't want you to do that is, in fact, I worked at those organizations. For some of you that don't know, I was at IBM. I ran their cloud business for Hamilton and his team. And before that, I was at Microsoft for 8 years. I launched the Azure business in South Africa with Lillian and then Zoab, right? So I don't want you, they say nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. I don't want you to make those kind of mistakes. So what are the 4 things I want you to think about? As well, at Huawei, we have a very unfair advantage in the market for now. Now, our competition is catching up, and I'll share with you what they're doing, but we have a very unfair advantage. I don't know if you know, we manufacture our own computer chips, right? So we have a relationship with ARM and now with Intel, where we manufacture our own chips. We take these chips and we put them in our own servers, storage, computing, switching, and even shoes. I think we're making shoes. We're a Chinese company, we make everything, right? So that gives us 2 benefits in market. One is price, and the second one is performance. Let me focus on performance, because price is not always everything, right? Performance. Because we do all of this stuff and we manufacture all of the stuff from the ground up, think about this. Our engineers that make servers and storage all talk to each other as we manufacture this cloud thing. And so one of the benefits of engaging with us is that probably between 15 and 20% better performance is what you'll get when you use our cloud services, because that is how we've constructed this thing. Now, Amazon have caught on to this, and they are now starting and accelerating what they're doing in that space, because it is a point where you want to be to give your customers the benefit, right? And so we think they'll catch up in the next 12 to 18 months, but by then we'll move on to 7G and 11G and all of those things, right? So that's the first thing I want to share with you. The second thing I want to share with you is around price. Now, I think we're doing really good in this business. Can we do more? Absolutely. But when it comes to price, the value proposition to your customer is the following. If you're anybody running Azure, AWS? Yeah, some of you, it's fine. You don't have to put your hand up. As I said, we all make mistakes. You didn't know about our cloud. For every 100 Rand you spend today in the private cloud or public cloud, right? For every 100 Rand you spend, if you work with Nikhil or with Rajan or with Patrick and his team, and you share that bill of material with us, I can almost guarantee you I can save you between 25 Rand and 30 Rand on every 100 Rand you spend. I'm going to say that again, right? Are there any CFOs here? I don't want you to get fired, right? For every $100 you spend today on cloud, I could probably do it for you for about 70, 75 bucks. And it's because we have this advantage in the market, and we could take that money and run or pay me a good salary since I'm such a great guy and I've been previously disadvantaged, but no, we give it back to you. So that's the second thing that we do that I want you to think about. The other thing I want you to think about is that in the context of cloud, some customers have very unique requirements. Some of our customers have legacy systems like Oracle or AIS systems or any of those systems. For those customers, or even VMware, right? For those customers, we have a service called BMS, right? BMS is called Bare Metal Services. Now, if you know anything about IT and sales guys, is we love acronyms because it makes us sound really great, right? So I'm going to try not to use any acronyms. But this BMS thing is a service where if you like the value of cloud, elasticity, uptime, all of that stuff, we can give you one of those things and we'll make sure it's all cloudified, but just for you, right? And it's a unique offering that we offer, and customers really like that. It's not for everyone, but it's a unique service that we have. Then the last one is this OBS. Remember I said I'm an acronym guy, right? Object-based storage. Doesn't it make me sound great that I know all these acronyms? Don't worry, I only learned 4 of them. Anyway, so OBS, object-based storage, really is the gem in our crown. And the gem in our crown is OBS, because we manufacture all this stuff. When it comes to storage, we are super efficient and at a price point like you can't believe. Would you believe me if I told you that for less than $100 I could store a terabyte of data for you a month? Less than $100. Right, and I'm from Aldo's, right? I don't like giving things away for free. I know Rajan always asks for discounts since he's from Durban, but Rajan, I don't do that, right? So really great service, and this is where a lot of our customers are dipping their toes in the water with cloud by taking some of their stale or old data that they have to keep for a long time, and they put it onto this secure platform. Right? You heard what I said, secure platform. I'm teeing up my next slide, right? Secure platform. I'm teeing this one up. Right, why did I tee that one up? Huawei, First Technology, Mastec, we don't take your trust for granted. I think as you think about your journey in cloud, a lot of questions get asked by either compliance, legal, those kind of things, right? And you have to demonstrate that where you are moving the data to, that it is safe. And that people aren't going to use the data to advertise new things to you. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing. Sometimes I Google something and I go on Facebook and now they're advertising stuff to me. These things actually happen, guys. It's a reality of what happens. I'm sure you've experienced it. And so you don't want that to happen with your important company data. And so you need to demonstrate to the leaders in your business, risk and compliance, that that's not going to happen to you guys, right? People aren't going to take advantage. And so one way of us proving our trust is by making sure that we have these global certifications for all our data centers we have in South Africa. And so we say that if that is something that you require, here's some of the things that we're doing. Certainly it's not an exhaustive list, but I think it's important that we demonstrate that you can trust us, right? And so if you want to have access to some of these things, huawei.com/compliance is where you can download some of these certificates. Now, I see there's many customers here, and I'm sure many of you are storing credit card data, and I'm sure you're transmitting credit card data, and I know that if you're doing that, you have this certification, PCI DSS, right? I know you have that, right? And for the ones that don't, we're not going to talk about it because I don't want you to lose your job, but you could use our platform to help make sure that you meet that certification because the platform is certified already for that, right? So something to think about. Any questions or comments? I'm mindful of time. Patrick, I'm going to go fast now. Right, so let me share with you what are we doing. So earlier on I indicated we built a data center. We have a massive hyperscale data center. In fact, if you talk really nice to Rajan, we actually do trips to the data center for you guys to see what we're doing in the data center. So the first facility is up. It's in the Johannesburg area. We don't traditionally tell customers where it is, but if you do the visit, you'll figure out where it is. And as we're speaking, we're bringing up the second availability zone. All we're busy with is just the dark fiber because we have to own the dark fiber between those two facilities, and AZ2 should go online by the end of this month. We do have aspirations of a third availability zone. Now there's a big fight whenever I talk to customers. When I went to Cape Town, they wanted it. When I went to Durban, the Dubai guys want it. And yesterday I was in East London and they also want it, right? So yeah, the first day guys, there you go. So unfortunately for you, I don't make those decisions. But Donna certainly has influence. If you talk to Donna and Dr. Berger, I'm sure has some amazing influence. I'm sure they can make a plan for you. So that's our build out. We want to be very clear where we're going to from a South African strategy, and then we build out the rest of Africa, Kenya, Nigeria. We continue that investment. Now, that's great, but network connectivity is an important thing for us to think about as well, right? So what we've done is we've have two additional investments. We call them POP, points of presence, and while we have two providers, this is being recorded, right? Do you have the ability to edit stuff out? You have ability. I'm going to ask him to edit this piece out. So for our POP sites, what's very important is that we need to make sure that you are connected with the least amount of hops and the best latency, right? One way of doing that is by partnering with the right providers. Now, I'm not allowed to tell you who those providers are, but if you think about Terrico or Internet Solutions, I won't stop you from thinking that way. But typically, those are the people that we would partner with to provide these services. So that means if you're with any of those providers, you could interconnect with us almost instantaneously through the NAP Africa or to do a direct connect. So that is already there today as we speak. So if networking or connectivity is some of the things you think about, we can absolutely help you in that space. But I didn't say that. Edit, you must remember to edit that out, my cousin. I'm from Aldo's, eh? Right. Sorry, where am I going to now? There we go. Right. So, in parting with you today, 3 teams. Remember the 3 things you have to remember, right? I'm not going to repeat it. I know you guys remembered it. Do I have to ask anybody a question? Okay, no, I won't ask you. So remember the 3 things we have to think about. The cloud is in South Africa. We're going to make sure that you don't do it on your own. We'll partner very smartly with you. And I'm going to hold Rajan as well as Nikhil accountable for that. And then we're going to make sure that we invest in the right places. Training, capability, that kind of stuff. Not just for you, our customers, and our partners, but also a lot broader, because we think it's a massive opportunity for us to generate net new jobs for our children, right? My daughter's second year varsity, and I don't know what she's going to do after that, and so maybe she can become a cloud engineer as she figures out what she's going to do with a psychology degree, maybe a psychology cloud, I don't know. But anyway, with that, I want to say thank you very much. You guys have been an amazing crowd. I really enjoyed coming out here to the home of VW. You know, it's always been my aspiration to come out here. I hope I get a free GTI when I go back. Thank you very much.